truly Indian perspectives.
In school, our favorite teacher was someone who made learning interesting. Someone who could teach us a very complex and boring subject in a fun way. Someone who made us fall in love with learning itself. You go to a library and there are tons of books out there, but the ones with a lot of pictures, bold letters, and easy to understand words make you want to read it. For me, anime is one such art form that makes very deep intellectual topics cool and fun to watch. Through its unique storytelling, world building, and crazy amount of fights, it makes deep perspectives very easily understandable to our tiny brains. So, today, let's dive deep into the world of anime and discuss our favorites. So, let's welcome Kiran to Truly Indian Perspectives. We have been wanting to do this for a long, long time now. Firstly, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm good, bro. So, which was the first anime that you watched or got you into this art form?
I would say for me it was Dragon Ball Super. And that time it was a craze because Dragon Ball had newly released with a new set of animation, like an upgraded version of Dragon Ball Z that we were always watching. And then I took a long break, and then again the anime that got me into this world was Naruto during the lockdown. The best time to watch anime. And yeah, so for me, Dragon Ball Super, I would say for me, it was a fun watch. I was just watching it because it looked cool, new animation and everything. But Naruto, it was in a deeper aspect, understanding lessons, and even what do you say, the feeling, the relatability that you can get from the anime is what I felt was the best part.
So, like you said, I think for majority of Indians, I think Dragon Ball Z is their first anime because it was we didn't even know that it was anime. So for us, it was like cartoon itself, and I think there is always a right time to watch something because if you watch any anime as a kid, all you are gonna see is the power ups, the fights, and you're gonna be like, oh, I want to be like Goku or fight like Goku. But as you grow up and you see an anime at a certain phase of your life, you understand the deeper perspectives that the writer is trying to tell through it. So for me as well, yeah, Goku or Dragon Ball Z was the first anime that I watched as a kid, but didn't understand a single thing because I was just fascinated by the fights. And every time Goku went Super Saiyan, it was like a crazy moment for me. But if you ask me what the story was, I don't even remember anything because we were too small to understand anything. But later, I think you and your brother Kishan like forced me to watch anime again, and I was like, okay, let me give it a try. So Naruto was the anime that I got into. For me, Naruto is very special because I watched it at a phase of my life where I was totally low. So I was going through a lot of things, and there were moments where I used to cry, and I didn't even know why I was crying. So I knew that I was like breaking down mentally, and I wanted to watch something that would motivate me. So I think Naruto came in at the very right moment, and I don't think there is any bigger motivator than Naruto for me. I like totally fell in love with the complete story and the character. I think he is truly a great motivator because you see yourself in him. Like if you aren't able to do something that you want to do in life, I think Naruto will be your biggest hero because a guy who has always been cornered by everyone in the village, who is never considered anything, but has a huge dream of becoming Hokage, and he doesn't give up no matter what others' opinions are. So I don't think there is any bigger motivator because I fell in love with Naruto and his will and never give up attitude that Naruto had, that I am going to become Hokage, because that dream at the initial of the anime, if you start Naruto from episode 1, that dream looked so foolish. Like, so they tell that if no one is laughing at your dream isn't big enough. So Naruto had such a big dream that everyone was laughing at him. And I think he was a crazy motivator. And from there, that transformation of coming out of that mental phase and wanting to do something, that is the result of all this that we have today, that we wanted to build a studio, we wanted to do a podcast, we wanted to do a YouTube channel, and everything started because Naruto is a motivator for me. So yeah, it was a huge impact for me.
Yes. For me, I would say like as you told, for you, you related to the part where you standing up again and again. For me, it was like, how can a person who can make a fool of himself again and again, like it's not exactly he's making a fool of himself, but people thinking he's a fool, no, and like all only dream, all talk, no cock, and but he still proves them that like no, you are not what I mean. I'm not what you think I am. I'll show you. I'll definitely show you. Belief system.
And I think Naruto is the biggest example of how people treat you when you are nothing versus how people treat you when you become something. Yeah, because we have seen how they started treating Naruto once he became Hokage. So he became a hero. Like even after defeating Pain, he was like treated as hero of the village. Until then, no one even gave a damn about Naruto. But and another thing, like you said, what I loved truly about Naruto was he had all the opportunities and the reasons to become a villain, but he still chose to be a hero. Because I think a great scene is where he goes and talks to Nagato, and he tells, I and you have lived through the same journey. You have had the same pains that I've gone through, but the only difference is you chose to give it to everyone else, and I chose that no one else goes through the same thing that I went through. So that is what makes a hero. So I think the major thing that I've learned through animes in general is, what is it that truly makes you a hero? It is not you being the most powerful or anything. It is about doing the right things at the right time, being kind to people, and understanding others' feelings. So I think that is what makes you a hero. So let's discuss deep as to what is it that makes Naruto so good.
For me, I would say that the initial, I felt it relatable because being physically weak in from my childhood, I have been like, left out basically in that. Like how Naruto was left out, not because he was weak, but he was considered a monster. But I felt the relatability, like being left out and not being able to mingle with people, or people not accepting me. But yeah, like that time I never had the confidence that no, I'll prove them and everything, because I was kind of a person who would let myself down just because of what people are talking about me, or how people are behaving with me. But later when I started watching it, I'm like, okay, I have been through that. But how did he handle it? There is a huge difference. I started doing that after 10 years. After 10 years, when like not initially, a bit before I started watching Naruto, but that built up the belief system in me, that built up. And I would say that he, being foolish, makes a great leader. Okay, the leadership qualities and everything. And I feel that he's a slowly built hero, because every person who had a bad opinion about him, in the end he definitely changed it. The first person was Gara.
And the unique thing about him was he wasn't even trying to change their perspectives. He was just being himself. And in the end, they realized what truly he was. It wasn't like Naruto was trying to change their perspective about him, because he was someone who didn't give a damn about anything. I think what makes Naruto special is the unique storytelling. The way it starts from showing you a kid who is failure, who is not even able to do a shadow clone, to someone who becomes master of the shadow clones. So I think that journey, and one thing that Naruto is majorly known for is badass villains. I think the Akatsuki is one of the craziest villain group in all of anime. I think they have the character designs of Itachi, for example, or Madara, for example, the speech that Madara gives about life in general. I think there are a lot of crazy things that makes Naruto, or why it is so goated. And I love the fact that it seamlessly transitioned from being a story of a shinobi to the concept of Indra, Ashura, reincarnations. So that transition into that story was really very smooth. Like it wasn't like you felt as if it was like being pushed onto it. So I think that transition was very nice. Other than that, like I said, there is character development that is very nicely shown there. For example, Naruto's character development is crazy. You see Itachi. I think so for me, character development isn't something that you show someone as a weak guy and then post him as a strong guy. Itachi's character development is from being a villain to being a hero. So that is a crazy character development, because At the initial, they show him as a ruthless guy who killed his own family and showed that repeatedly to Sasuke, his own brother. Like, you kind of think this guy is a psychopath. But when you finally realize why he did all that, the amount of respect you have for Itachi, because one thing that I learned through Itachi is sometimes for the greater good, you have to take decisions that you don't even like killing your own family because you wanted the world to be a better place. That is not an easy decision to take. And he loved his brother so much that he's the only guy who couldn't kill, and he wanted him to become strong, and for him I think he thought the only way was to bring hatred into his life. He wanted himself to be a reason that his brother becomes strong.
For me, I feel that it was a way of repentance for Itachi. That now I have killed my entire family. To wash away those sins, I want my brother only to kill me, is what I feel. Because I think that was kind of a reason why he left him alive. Or else it was easy for him to kill Sasuke also. He wasn't that strong.
No, I think, yeah, like I said, the love that he had for his brother was so much that he wasn't able to kill him, and for him it was like he doesn't know anything. And like you said, he wanted to die only by the hands of Sasuke. Even in the last fight, it isn't like Sasuke defeated him. So he died on his own. But yeah, I think that was a very beautiful brotherhood bondage that they have showed, because it is a unique story. Like, it goes from hate to love so beautifully. And like you said, Naruto is a very emotional story. Like, it makes you laugh because Naruto is a goofy character. It makes you cry. There are a lot of, like, I don't think I've cried as much as I've cried watching Naruto as in any other anime. Because even if you show me the scene where he talks to Minato, that scene, if you even show it to me now, I might cry, because that is such a emotional scene, because you have seen this kid go through so much turmoil in his life and finally is able to tell all that to his father. Then Jiraya's death, Itachi's death. So I think it is a very emotional and a beautiful story that is being said. And for me, the best parts about Naruto would be, like I said, Naruto is a very motivating character. He doesn't only motivate you, but also the characters in the anime, like his fight with Neji, where he tells you, don't be worried about destiny. Why are you concerned about what your destiny is? Someday you can change it. You are acting as if you are caged, but you can always be a free bird. And when I become Hokage, I'm going to change that. So that kind of makes Neji fall in love with him. And in the end, he gives his life for Naruto. So that fight, and where he tells, the best line that I saw in that fight that motivated me at that time was, they all called me a failure and I'll prove them wrong. So that hit me so hard, because at a point in our own lives, because we wanted to do something different, we gave up on education midway. We started something that you never know if it is going to blow up or not, because you can put in a lot of effort, but you don't know if your video is going to blow up. You don't know if you're going to be famous or not. But we wanted to take that risk. But what that does is, when people are going in a straight line and you waver off from it, all your family members and people close to you think that you are a failure, because you currently aren't doing something. So until you prove that you are not, you are considered a failure. So for me, that line hit so hard that it's okay. I don't care if people are considering me a failure right now. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to keep going at it, and someday I'll prove them wrong. Let's talk about the first instance where you fell in love with the character.
There's a scene where he has his first fight with Zabuza. Like, they're going with the old man, and he does that demon wind shuriken,
Switch with Sasuke. Yeah.
That's where I'm like, bro, he has brains. He's not a goofy person.
The great Naruto bridge. Yeah. So yeah, for me as well. So, like, the initial scene was when Iruka Sensei, he tries to protect him and does the shadow clone for the first time. I was like, okay, this guy has potential. Then, like you said, at the great Naruto bridge, firstly, the scene that got me loving Naruto, or I totally understood that this was going to be epic, was when Sasuke comes and saves Naruto, and he's down, and Naruto becomes angry against Haku, and for the first time he kind of releases Kurama Chakra. So I was like, oh fuck, this is nice. So, and after that, the talk no jutsu to Zabuza. So, he kind of talks about why were you treating Haku in such a way. So, I think there I started falling in love with Naruto. And from there on, it just kept on getting better. So, post that, I think there are a lot of scenes. Like we said, the another scene that hyped me up was his fight against Gara, where he gets on that frog and he's like, imagine an animal that can go and grasp him, and he's like, I don't know what to think, I don't know what to think, and in the last moment he thinks about Kurama. So yeah, so when that Nine Tails comes out and Sasuke is watching it like, what the hell is this? I think that scene was epic. And post that fight, when he hits him with that headbutt, and there he's rolling, like going crawling to him, and he goes and tells him that, okay, I have also been through the same thing that you have been. And he impacts Gaara so much that finally, when there is infinite Tsukuyomi, Gaara's dream was playing with Naruto. That is the impact Naruto made on Gaara. Like, that is how important Naruto became for Gaara. So I think these are scenes that I fell in love with. Other than that, of course, the emotional scenes, like we said, when he was talking to Minato, is always a very emotional scene. And another scene where I cried was when they explained that there is a hero in front of us after the pain fight. Like, they're throwing him up in the air and they're explaining that this kid was always bullied and now he's finally someone who has saved the village. So yeah, Naruto is a epic anime, bro.
And for me, I would say that I'm a person who doesn't only look at the main character, the MC. For like the second part where I started loving Naruto even more was Lee versus Gaara fight in the Chunin exam. It's like he's fighting, and Guy Sensei is like, you can remove the weights. He does this and drops them. Everybody were like, dropping a few weights doesn't make any difference. But when it fell down,
they realized how much weight he was like wearing and still moving at that pace.
And he was the first person in Gaara's entire life to even give him a scratch.
And the best part was, even when he was unconscious, he was still trying to get up and wanted to fight. Yes. So that is when Guy Sensei realized he had like created a beast. So he knew that my training had like come out really well. So yeah, let's talk about the best fights. So first, of course, like we said, Naruto versus Haku and Talk no Jutsu to Zabuza. Then Naruto versus Neji, like I said, because it was like there was a lot of depth in the fight, and two fights in the initial stages where I felt like this guy has a lot of battle IQ was one against that I can't even remember his name, that guy with the dog, bro. What's his name? Kamaru and what is his name? I don't even remember his name. So Kiba, yeah. So in that fight, if you remember, he shadow clones as a dog, does a lot of things, and then at the end he's like confuses that guy completely. So
but the best part was he farting in Akamaru's nose. No, Kiba's nose. Kiba felt so...
Like, everyone were shocked because the dog's sense of smell is so strong, and yet he was able to deceive him. So there I was like, this guy has a lot of battle IQ. After that with Neji as well, if you see the final scene where he is laying down and he thinks that, okay, he is out, then suddenly that's a shadow clone, he is digging below the ground and then hits that uppercut. And honestly, I think Naruto has the best uppercut in all of anime. His uppercuts to Sasuke, his uppercuts to Neji, bro, he just disfigures them. He completely changes their shape of the face. So he has the best uppercut. Post that, of course, Naruto versus Gaara. That was an epic fight. Then both the Naruto versus Sasuke. The first Naruto versus Sasuke and the final Naruto versus Sasuke was epic. Then Madara versus the Thousand Shinobi.
I would say for me, Madara versus Guy. Yeah. Guy Sensei.
Madara versus Guy and Madara versus 5 Kage. Where he's like, okay, let me create 5 Susanos. So each one of you have one.
All the Uchihas take a lot of effort to create one Susano, and this guy is like, it's just a game for me.
He was literally toying with the Kages. Like, he was like, you are nothing in front of me.
And Raikage was supposed to be one of the fastest and the strongest among all the 5 Kages. He just toyed him like this. Like,
he was a crazy character, bro. Like, his speech, the kind of craziness that guy had. So he was like he wanted to win at any cost, and he was ready to go to any lengths to achieve what he wanted to achieve, like taking Hashirama's cells, doing whatever it takes to be the best. So yeah, he was a crazy guy. Then one fight that had a lot of depth was Obito versus Kakashi, because there was a lot of blood. There was a lot of history there. There was a lot of depth to that fight, and the way they have animated it, showing the younger versions of them fighting when they were training versus them fighting when they are old, that was crazy. Yeah, the switches in animation was epic. Then Obito versus Minato, where he breaks his vertical column with that Rasengan. That move of throwing that kunai and then switching its position and hitting that Rasengan was.
Bro, I would say out of all the shinobis and the kages, in Minato's battle IQ was the best. Because using only one technique, that is flying Raijin, and making it the best.
He of course had the best battle IQ, and he had a crazy swag the way he did it, bro. Like where he just removes his bag and before it drops, he's near the opponent. So
The battle IQ that Minato had, just throwing the kunai and analyzing his weakness, that at this point he is gonna get the blow.
it wasn't like he had time to analyze it. He was battling, so he was in center of that battle, and he had to analyze that in split second. That okay, this is how this guy's technique works. So I just get a split second where I have to go there, because if he touches me, I'm gone. So that was crazy, bro. Like his battle IQ, because even if you see in the final war when he is reincarnated and he comes back, he like teams up with Naruto to get that what is that beast bomb. They have to save all the people. So how they use his kunai and transfer that to the ocean is a crazy scene as well.
And there's one more scene where they are fighting against Madara, and those orbs, the black orbs, he knows that what do you say? They have to be taken care of, and that is what he does is he doesn't have his arms. He tells Lee to throw the kunai, and then when Lee throws it, he just goes to that point, bites the kunai, and he takes the orbs on his body and then goes back. And guy comes and hits Madara. Because they knew only taijutsu can beat Madara. And that IQ of his, bro, next level. No wonder he was called the Yellow Flash, with his brain and his speed.
I think that is where Naruto got his battle IQ as well. Because the craziest battle IQ scene for me was his fight against Gaara, where he goes and does this. This to Gaara, and people are like, what the hell is he doing? But at that moment, in that second, he had put those bombs there, and while falling, he says, boom. That scene for me was like, this guy is badass, bro. He's like a crazy guy. So, yeah, after that, like we said, Rock Lee versus Gaara. That's a crazy fight. Everyone, like, for most people, I think that is one fight that got them loving Naruto, because it tells about, like we said, why we love Naruto is it is a motivating character. And I think there is no better motivating characters than Rock Lee and Guy Sensei, because they also have a similar story as such, because they also were kind of cornered. No one thought that, because they weren't able to do ninjutsu, they only knew taijutsu. So they were like, will they be able to be at par with us? And through only their hard work, they were able to conquer that. So I think those are as well a very motivating character and reasons why people love Naruto. Post that, I think, of course, Naruto versus Pain, bro. Like, that fight is one of my favorite fights in whole of Naruto, because there was lot on the line, and this guy just comes into a village and say, everyone will know Pain, and just destroys the whole village, yeah. So, I was like, who the hell can now stop him? Because even Jiraiya lost against him. But the way Naruto, the entry that Naruto does on those frogs, and the way they have shown it, because he's standing. So initially, if you see that, they only show Naruto with frogs on his shoulders, then they show one frog, then they show three frogs. So that was shown so beautifully. And then the way he fights, because there you really understand the battle IQ of Naruto. Like the way he senses through those chakras where Nagato might be sitting, how he destroys Pain, and that scene where he puts him in that, what is that? What is that power of this guy, bro? through his Renegan, he uses those gravitational pull. Yeah. So no, the gravitation where he creates a spear in the air. Yeah, and he puts him inside that, and he breaks through, and he's standing there and watching. He's standing upside down. Naruto is standing upside down and staring at Pain. That is a badass scene.
And I think he also had to unleash that, what do you say, lose control of his power, the Kurama's power, and that's why he could get out of that. It helped him.
That was a crazy fight, and his conversation with Nagato after that. Then of course Guy versus Madara, where he's like, "You are the strongest that I've fought in Taijutsu." Then Naruto versus Kabuto in the initial stages when he was learning this Rasengan.
Where all the three, what do you say, Tsunade, Orochimaru, and even Jiraiya, when they come and fight, where Orochimaru wants Tsunade to come with him, and Jiraiya wants to take her to the back to the village to make her the Hokage.
It's not like it's one of the craziest fights, but why I love it is because when Naruto realizes that he's not able to hit the Rasengan to him because he's not able to get a grasp of him, finally what he does is takes that kunai to his hand so that he can hold him there and then hits the Rasengan. So I was like, oh, holy shit, this guy can go to any limits. If he wants to do something, this guy will go to any limits, and he does the same when he's training for Rasengan and Rasen Shuriken and stuff like that. So like, you can see his battle IQ where, because the first time he uses Rasen Shuriken, he realizes that it puts his own body through a lot of turmoil. So when he goes into Sage mode, he's like, can I try it now? And then he's like, okay, he trains and comes out and he's like, okay, now I can use the Rasen Shuriken in Sage mode.
He is like mix and match everywhere. And for me, I'd say that in every fight, there is some fear in the opponent that he removes. Okay, or a person with him, like how he removed the fear of blood in Tsunade. Like, she was a person who cannot see blood. Any person's blood, she sees and she goes back. For a fighter like her, she is undefeated. But I would say that that one weakness of her. But when she saw him fight and everything, she got inspired. Slowly, one by one, everybody's fear. He has that quality to, what do you say, inspire people. And what do you say? I would say get into his circle and everything. Like, he's like a great aura.
You don't even know when you are attracted to that guy. You fall in love without even trying. Yes. So yeah, after that I would say the only thing that Sakura did good in the whole of the anime was her fight against Sasori, bro. With that granny when she fights against Sasori, I think that was a great fight. It was shown superbly well. Him using all those puppets and the way she was like knocking them down, it was a great fight.
But as a character, Sasori, bro, I'm like, how did the writer even think about that person? Human puppets and controlling them in such a way. Like, how did they even make that? That was
yeah, I think that is one thing that I truly love about two goats of anime, that is One Piece and Naruto, is they have written like n number of characters and n number of different powers for them. So it is not easy to write so many unique powers, and the way they would handle it and stuff like that, it's crazy. Then another fight is Kabuto versus Itachi, where Itachi has that badass line where Kabuto tells there is no weakness to this jutsu, and Itachi tells I am the weakness that this jutsu has.
I would say I love this fight of Shikamaru versus Hidan. Because Shikamaru, he only has the ability to do strategies, and that shadow possession jutsu is not that powerful also. But Hidan being an immortal, and to capture him was a very difficult task.
I think Shikamaru is an example of, it's not important what power you have, it is more important as to how you use it. So I think he used his brains very well, and that fight is beautiful because it also had a lot of depth, because he had taken the life of his teacher and he had to take that revenge, and finally, like, when he lights up that lighter and then throws that in, so there is a lot of depth. So like I said, there are a lot of good fights, there are a lot of things. Initially when we started this conversation, I said one thing, that it is very important that you watch something at a right age, because any kid who would have watched Naruto would have loved the fights, of course, but he wouldn't have understood the depths that a lot of events was giving it to him. So I think initially when, if you remember, when they are going on their first mission and they are attacked and Naruto gets scared for the first time and Sasuke is like, you're a scaredy cat. Naruto takes a kunai and just stabs himself and he tells, from next time I'll never be scared. That has a lot of depth, because if you have a dream that you want to become, of course there are certain things that is stopping you within yourself, that you know that, for example, if you want something and you know that you are not disciplined, you know that there is a lot of things that is stopping you from bringing out your full potential. It is about breaking those yourself. So you have to decide that, okay, from tomorrow I'm going to do this. From tomorrow I have to break through these barriers that I have for myself. If I'm an overthinker, I'm going to stop overthinking and I'm just going to focus on the process. So for me, that scene has so much depth, because it wasn't about just stabbing him. It was about like, okay, I know this is my weakness, that I get scared. From now on, I'm not going to get scared. He's going to be like, okay, what is the maximum this can do to me? It's going to pain a little. I don't care about it.
And that was kind of like a reality check to him.
And he does the same thing when he comes in front of Orochimaru and tells Sasuke, you scaredy cat. So that is like a crazy scene which has a lot of depth to it. So in the same way, when, like we said, there is a hero in front of us, that scene where they were explaining as to how a kid who was always bullied by the whole village is now saving the village. So he could have gone against the village. There was no reason for him to save the village. But he chose to do it because that is who he is. He didn't change who he was. He remained true to himself. And that is what we have to learn from the character or the anime, is that no matter how the world is treating you, remain true to yourself. You don't have to treat them the same way just because they are treating you badly. You are changing yourself in that process. So there is no need to do that. And another beautiful thing is about Jiraiya. So Jiraiya was a pervy sage, okay? He was falling in love with every girl out there.
Falling in love?
I mean, in the sense he was attracted to every girl out there. But even a guy who has so much of havas inside him is very loyal to one person. So he loved Tsunade so much that he thought, I'm okay with her being with someone else and being happy. It's okay for me to not even say how I feel about her. And he just went there without even telling her anything. And after he dies, we realize that she also felt the same about him. So there is always two angles to a same person. Just because he portrays himself as someone who doesn't care and he's attracted to everyone, there is a softer side of him that is very loyal to one person. In the same way, there is a scene where Naruto tells Hinata when they are kids, you live in such a beautiful house and you are still crying. I never cry. But he never showed it in front of anyone. Even when there was no one to celebrate his birthday, he didn't show it in anyone. But when he's alone, he cries alone. So those are scenes that tell us that it's okay to cry. You are a human at the end of the day. It's okay to be who you are. You don't have to hide your reality. And never judge someone just because they are being shown as an extrovert or being shown as someone who is always fun-loving. There is another side to a person. So I think there is a lot of depth which you will only understand if you see it through a crazy perspective and a lens, because you have to be at the right frame of mind and the right age to understand all this.
I would say don't watch it in 2x.
No, it's about not even 2x. I would say when you are not even in an age where you can understand all those deep perspectives, or you yourself haven't gone through all those things. If you haven't gone through a breakup, if you haven't gone through failures in life, if you haven't gone through people treating you badly, you would never understand. So yeah, I think there was a lot of depth to it.
The one more deeper aspect of what I felt in Naruto was that even though many people knew Kakashi, Hiruzen, everybody knew he's the fourth Hokage's son, they didn't reveal it because they knew that he wouldn't come up stronger, is what I feel. Because they could have easily told, why are you treating him like that? He's the fourth Hokage's son.
So that's a beautiful point, but I would like to differ a bit. I think at least Kakashi put in a lot of effort to be with Naruto, support him when he needed, train him well. I think more than Danzo, I hate Hiruzen the worst, bro. Because I think he was the worst Hokage. He didn't do shit, bro. Like, okay, you know this guy is fourth Hokage's son, okay? You are putting him in a quarters where he is eating shitty food, okay? Okay, you don't even want to put him in a threatening position by telling everyone that he is fourth Hokage's son. Understandable. But you could at least treat him well. You could at least stop people from treating him badly, because you know the reason why the Kurama was put inside him, but you are still not stopping anyone from doing anything. Even when it came to Sasuke, he knew that Itachi did all that because there were certain reasons, because his family was going to revolt against the villagers, and that was going to cause a lot of disturbance in the whole village. So he was like, okay, Itachi did it for a reason. His own brother doesn't know it. Let me make that child sit down and explain to him why his brother did what he did. He left until Sasuke decided to take revenge on his brother, until Itachi died, until Sasuke had to go through all those shit and turmoil. This guy didn't do shit. So I think Hiruzen was the worst character, bro.
And he died a shameful death, bro. He just took Orochimaru's hand and left.
Yeah, man, he's a weird character and useless. Yeah, yeah, worst Hokage, bro. Worst Hokage and worst character, bro. He didn't do shit the whole episode. So Sakura was better than him.
Don't say that.
So I think, yeah. So there was a lot of depth and there is a lot of story there that was told, and even later, like we said, when it got transitioned into it being reincarnations of Indra and Ashura, the story of Indra and Ashura as well. Like one brother who has all the potential to be the king, while the father chooses the other guy, because there is that beautiful line where he tells, if you remember, both of them are sent to separate villages. There is a single issue that you will have to solve there. Let's see who comes back first. So Indra goes, he defeats everyone and he comes back first, while Ashura hasn't come back for months together. But when Ashura comes back and he asks what took you so long, he's like, I had to make sure that everyone were working together. We all came together as a village and we solved that problem. And while he's coming back, he has a lot of supporters who want to follow him. So he realizes that being a king isn't about just being strong. It is about being able to make other people fall in love with you and work for you. And teamwork is all that matters. So he gives it to Ashura. And that is where the whole story starts, and this reincarnation and stuff like that. But those are such beautiful, deep perspectives that they have told us in such a easy, simple manner, in fun to watch. So I think everyone should give Naruto a shot, bro. Everyone who hasn't watched it, definitely they'll love it. And they should give Naruto a shot. And probably there are still a lot of things in the anime that we might have missed and we might have not talked, because it has like over 700 episodes and a lot of scenes, a lot of epic scenes in every episode. So I don't think 5 hours also would be enough for us to discuss every episode or every single detail. But yeah, the final war was crazy, reincarnations was crazy, everything about it was crazy. These were the things that we kind of find beautiful or attractive, or we understood the perspective and we wanted to discuss upon it. So yeah, Naruto was a crazy start to our anime journey. So anime is one such genre where getting into it is difficult, because you have these notions about is it just cartoon or stuff like that. So you don't usually start, but once you get into it, there's no turning back. So you just get addicted to it and you start watching one after the other. So post Naruto, of course, I watched a lot of other animes, Demon Slayer, for example. So yeah, Demon Slayer is a beautiful anime, but I would say it is a very simple plot. Like, there is nothing, you can explain it in one line. It is just about demons versus demon slayers. That's it. So there are demons who suck up blood and kill humans, and their only disadvantage is getting in the sun, or these Nichiren blades that the demon slayers use. And there are demon slayers who protect people from these demons. Yeah. That's it.
And I would say it is an anime that is beautifully shown.
I think, yeah, like you said, its whole, like, Demon Slayer is carried by its animation. So animation is the only thing that is making it beautiful and better. And yeah, every time you want to watch, because the fights are crazy. Of course, there is no denying that the fights are crazy. Like, the best fight is, will always remain. I am not even able to pronounce his name, bro. Yeah, Gaitoro, who's his name? What was his name? the villain, Gaitoro versus Tengen, Uzui Tengen. Yeah, Uzui Tengen. So yeah, that would always be one of the craziest anime fights, for example, because that was animated so well. So yeah, animation is solely carrying it, but because so we aren't putting down any anime. Every anime is beautiful, but for someone who has watched the big three and who has watched One Piece and Naruto, I would say it is a very simple plot, a very simple story, something that I would suggest for someone who is trying to get into anime. Yes. So if someone asks me which is one anime that you would suggest someone who wants to get into anime, I would say Demon Slayer, without doubt, because it is very easy to understand, a simple plot, beautiful animation. You'll definitely fall in love with anime, and of course later on you can continue, because if I tell someone that go and watch Naruto which has 700 plus episodes, or go and watch One Piece which has 1300 plus episodes, people would be like, bro, I cannot sit and watch through so many episodes. So something that has very less episodes and has beautiful animation, of course Demon Slayer is good, but I don't think there is much to discuss about that. Post that, I would say I watched I mean, I don't know, bro. A lot of anime, I would say, yeah. Chainsaw Man, which is very recent. It was kind of weird and yeah,
Weird and funny.
yeah, weird and funny. Yeah, weird and funny. It was good. Then there is Tokyo Revengers. I think. Did you like Tokyo Revengers?
Yeah, I definitely did. But as I would say, when I read the manga, I hated the ending.
You hated the ending.
Nah, like, I was like, why would you make Takemichi so powerful? Like, is what I felt. Because Mikey is what I aspire. Because as a character, like, that's what an MC should be. Takemichi, from the beginning, they made his first impression so bad that like people hate him like in the beginning.
So I have a very unique take on this. So for me, Tokyo Revengers is a underrated anime that I would consider. Underrated in terms, like, of course there are a lot of other beautiful animes that are way more underrated than Tokyo Revengers, because a lot of people have watched Tokyo Revengers. Why I'm telling underrated is because Tokyo Revengers gets a lot of hate for being, Tokyo Revengers is one of those animes where there is no power system. It is just normal people fighting it out. Okay. Why I kind of like Tokyo Revengers is there is a unique plot there about time travel. So this guy goes back in time and he is trying to solve something that has already happened in the present. How beautifully they have shown the way that no matter what he does, every time he comes back, there is the same thing is happening. It is like no matter how hard you try, there are certain things that you cannot change. So that concept of time travel, that concept of bringing those elements into play with a simple concept was very nice for me. And regarding Takemichi, so initially when I started watching Tokyo Revengers as well, I fucking hated Takemichi. Like, what the fuck is this guy even doing? So there are scenes where he already knows that this is going to happen. He stands there saying, no, why didn't you even try to do something? So I felt that. Then one day I sat and I was like, okay, let me think through this. So one thing that I realized was, even in our society, with friends that we know, it's not like every one of us has the same qualities or temperament. Okay. So some people are very daring. They know that I'll be able to fight. They are open for it. They go and fight in the situation. Some people run away. Some people don't even want to get involved. So you have different variety of people in society. We have been so accustomed to seeing an MC who is very powerful, who has this aura, who is always the badass guy, who is going to hit people left and right. Now that someone brings in a MC who is different, we are not able to accept him. So I think Takemichi is a unique MC. Someone, he is like, okay, I am not powerful. I am not someone who has the capacity to hit a lot of people. But I am someone who won't give up on someone who is an ex who had broken up with him. But he wants to save her. He wants to do the right thing. Even in that fight when he is like, I can't fight, but at least I can take hits and not fall down. Until I stay here, our team won't lose. So I think he's a unique MC who doesn't get the love that he deserves. I think people are so used to seeing MCs that are badass. They are like, because like in a society, you never get everyone in the same way, right? He's also, So for me, MC is someone who has a lot of good qualities. So Tanjiro is a very kind guy. So he even feels sad for someone who has for the demons that he has killed. He is one type of MC. Luffy is one type of MC. Naruto is one type of MC. So you always have different people, but their qualities, their kindness, the good in them makes them a hero and the main character. So I think Takemichi is a weird guy. Of course, there are moments when I get irritated because he's not doing anything. But I think it is a unique take on having a unique MC. So I think it is underrated in that sense that people hate it unnecessarily. So yeah, so that was about Tokyo Revengers. It has a, I think, yeah, if like we have read the manga, we know what the ending is. People might be shocked how Takemichi did all this shit. So yeah, it has a unique storyline. So that is there. Post that, yeah, of course, which are the animes we have watched, bro.
So, what are your thoughts on the controversial JJK?
Oh man, I think JJK is one of those new gen animes that had a lot of potential, according to me, because I loved the concept of you having a lot of negative emotions and such that you release without knowing, and those can be used as cursed energy. So the concept of the power system was very nice. So and the first season when I watched, I was like, okay, this is a little bit weird, but kind of nice. But once hidden inventory started and they showed why Geto and Gojo are the way they are now, I started loving the concept and loving the story. And then I started reading the manga, which was the biggest mistake I did. So I think Gege Akutami, I think as a writer, you should never have favorites. You should love all your characters. But Gege somewhere had a soft corner for a lot of characters and hatred towards a lot of characters, which was prominently seen through his writing. I think he had such a good story, such great potential, but he kind of fucked it up, bro. Like, I started hating him, like the worst writer I started feeling about him. So, yeah, so like I said, the power system was nice. But why I'm telling what I'm telling is because for those who have read the manga, there is this concept of merger where they wanted to merge all the non-cursed energy users into this one entity and create a single entity out of it. So there is this theory that every time a merger happens, no matter the 6-eye user and the vessel is dead or alive, they will be present at that, like they will reincarnate, which didn't happen. That concept itself was so beautiful. I was waiting for merger to happen. What will happen if merger happens? Will Gojo come back and stuff like that? That didn't happen at all. There is this prominent character, Naruto Shikamo. So he is known as Kenjaku right now, who has hijacked Geto's body. So he has this powers of like taking control of your brain. So he can control your powers as well when he gets your body. This guy has been around since Sukuna's age, like Sukuna's era. Okay, from that time he has been passing on from one body to another, and he's been there. So you realize that this guy has a big plot in his head, and he's going to do something large in the end. And this guy ends up killing him with a single slash. So why was he even alive for so long when he didn't do shit? So there was a lot of loopholes as to you show in one panel that Gojo won, and in the next panel you show Gojo sliced in half. So there were no explanations. I think JJK had a lot of potential and the writer kind of fucked it up. But it was a nice story. The characters were nice. Sukuna is one of my favorite villains. He is a crazy character. His power system was nice. And the concept of there is this theory that there is this story that the last time a 6-eye user was defeated or died was when he fought a 10 shadow technique user. So that's why Sukuna was so interested in Megumi. He wanted to have his power because with that he knew that he could defeat Gojo, because he wanted Mohoraga, because Mohoraga has the capacity to adapt to any moves. So he wanted to do that. Only then would he be able to break the barrier that Gojo has, the infinite void that he has. So I think the storyline and the power system, everything was impeccable, bro. It was very nice, and I had a lot of hopes on it, but in the end I felt let down. Maybe some people loved it. I think it is kind of like a movie called Ravan in India, because in that it is like, why should a hero always win? Why shouldn't a villain win? And I think Gege had that concept in head, and he loved Sukuna a lot. So, but yeah, I didn't like the ending and the way it ended, but it is a good anime for someone to watch. Yeah, other than that, yeah, which are the animes we would want to talk about?
Sang Jingwoo.
Oh, yeah, a new age anime again. So yeah, I think like Goku was forefather for the big three, I think Bleach in some way has inspired a lot of new gen animes. They have taken a lot of inspiration from there. So, Solo Leveling again, it is a crazy anime, but again, like Demon Slayer, I feel the animation is carrying Solo Leveling as well. I think it is not even animation, I would say it is very prominent and based upon the main character.
Yeah, like the overpowered character, you would say. Yeah.
No, I think the whole story is on the shoulders of Sung Jin Woo. So rest characters don't even make sense, or it doesn't even matter. It is all about Sung Jin Woo, and rightly solo leveling. So it is all about him leveling up and what he does. But in the end, of course, I know that there is a lot to the story that is coming up because his father is introduced now. He is a unique character. There is a scene where Sung Jin Woo is talking to a guy and he starts glitching. So who is the person who is handling all this? Who is the architect? There is a lot of things that are going to be uncovered in the future. So I am hopeful about, like, I am in love with Solo Leveling. I am liking it. I truly like it, but I wouldn't compare it with the GOATs. Is what I am telling. Like, it is a simple plot and it is mainly based on the hero. It is really nice. Not great yet, but I have high hopes for it. Hopefully, they are going to take it nicely in the future.
So the next anime that I would want to ask you about is your thoughts on AOT.
Attack on Titan, bro. Yeah, that is also, I would consider, one of those animes that has huge amount of depth. Like, one of those animes that I would suggest if someone likes understanding perspectives of life, or the realities of life and stuff like that, and something that is not for everyone. I think AOT is not something that everyone would like, but someone who loves a lot of depth in the story and a lot of reality and something that hits you hard would love AOT. I think the perspectives that I took out of AOT is, so basically there is this whole story about Eldians and Marley. So Eldians are stuck inside those walls, and Eren is one of those who is stuck inside the walls, and his whole agenda is he wants freedom from it. He wants to uncover what is behind those walls. He wants to, like, go on adventure, see what is all available in this universe to provide. And I feel like what Luffy is, that is exactly what Eren wanted to be. So yeah, Eren wanted freedom. Eren wanted to be whatever he wants, and that is exactly what Luffy is. So basically, it's about a cycle of hatred that the story begins where Eldians were always people who had this capacity of being giants, or they could turn into these monsters, and Marley were always scared of them. And one of the Eldians, he came here, he set up these walls to protect himself and the people of Eldians from the Marley, and he kind of brainwashed all their memories. So none of them know why they are put into the wall. So they think so Marley started doing these researches and creating their own version of giants, and these people think that they're being attacked from giants and they don't know their true potential. So it is a beautiful story about someone who, so basically Eren understands his destiny, that he is meant to do certain things, no matter he likes it or not, he has to do it. So once he figures that out, he takes certain decisions that feel so brutal, because he ends up like directing that giant to kill his own mother, because he knows that only if he does that, the strong will and fire to revolt against everyone comes into him. So it's a beautiful story that has a lot of depth, and there are also various scenes where Levi asks all these other members of his team to act as bait so that he can go and kill that monster. So yeah, a lot of scenes which has a lot of depth. Like I said, not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone would like AOT. And one thing that I loved is there is a lot of debate about Eren's decision, whether it was right or wrong. But yeah, like I said, I think he thought that by making himself a common enemy for both Marley and Eldians, so he gave that free will to his friends, that okay, if you want to stop me, you can do that. I won't stop your free will. And of course, Marley is going to revolt against me as well because I have caused a genocide and he ends up killing 80% of the population. So what his ideology was basically, if I become a single piece enemy that both the parties hate, maybe that would reunite them. But they have beautifully shown that the circle of hatred will continue to go on no matter what. And it is not about a specific kind of a gene or a specific type of person that is hated. It is the human mind that creates this differentiations and hate that comes in the human mind. And no matter what anyone does, until and unless we control our emotions, the cycle of hatred will keep on repeating. So I think at the end it was like all his efforts went in vain. So no matter how much he tried, his whole life was a tragedy. Like his whole life he tried to do what was right and he ended up suffering the most. So he's also one of a crazy MC because he had to go through all that for the greater good. So yeah, it is a beautiful story, bro. But yeah, of course, one anime that we could suggest to everyone who loves deeper stories, I think it is a wonderful anime, bro. So the next anime that I would love to talk about, and there is a lot to talk about, is Bleach. So I think in anime, what I feel is, like we said with AOT, it is not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone would like it. So I loved Bleach because personally I am someone who likes the samurai culture. I love people, sword fights and stuff like that, and Bleach was all about that. So I loved Bleach. So it doesn't mean that everyone should love it. So there is always this fight in the animeverse about which anime is better, which is not. I think there are so many options that you can choose and watch which you love. I think it doesn't make sense to hate and fight amongst us that which is better. I think every anime has its own fan base and every anime has its own plus, and you should watch what you love. So Bleach is something I loved a lot because, like I said, I love the samurai culture, I love sword fights, and just like in JJK, how I loved the concept of the power system, I loved the concept of how they have taken natural reality of life. Like there is this concept of your soul, how it goes to the afterlife, and there are soul reapers who make sure that your soul goes into the soul society. And there are sometimes you die with some wants that were never satisfied, and your soul is just roaming around and you become hollows, and soul reapers have to make sure that they kill them and purify them. So yeah, the concept was very nice. And Ichigo, bro, of course, one of the best MCs, and I think he is the only MC who I feel from the start of the anime he was badass itself. Like if you see Naruto, there were moments where he was kiddish and he wasn't that good, and then he developed into something crazy. Even if you see Luffy, he was goofy in the start, he was doing some random stuff, he wasn't that powerful and he had to go through that transformation. But Ichigo, from the start, he was like, okay, I am the MC. He had that aura with him. He just kept on doing crazy things. Like the first time he goes into Soul Society and does all those stuff in that single arc, bro. Like fighting with Kenpachi, that guy is a monster. So the best thing I like about that fight is, if you remember, there is a scene where Ichigo is scared. He is like, I'm scared, I'm nervous. He addresses that issue, that yes, I am scared, I am a human, yes, this is natural for me to be scared, but I have to fight through this, I have to go and face him. And that fight was epic. Then in the same arc, he goes on to release his Bankai, which people in the Soul Society take years to get, and he is like, give me 3 days and I'll get that done. And the dialogue which he tells, that it doesn't matter, I don't know if it will happen, tell me what will happen if I do it, don't tell me what will happen if I don't do it. So he's a crazy MC, one of my top favorite MCs. And of course, man, Bleach is a crazy concept. You loved Bleach?
Yeah, I really love Bleach, and especially I would say I love the villains more than the MC characters or the.
I think Bleach has one of the best character designs, bro. Character designs of every character, like, and the way they have showed. I mean, Bankai is the most beautiful word to hear for sure. Yeah. So every time we hear that, it's like so crazy to hear, and the way they have shown powers of each players, and the Zanpakuto having a will of its own, how they have to wield it and stuff like that. Yeah, beautiful character design and villains, like you said.
I would want to ask which or whose Bankai you love the most?
Oh, bro, that's a really tough one. I have a lot of ones that I love. Like initially, I loved Ichigo's Bankai because his is the only Bankai where the sword gets smaller and gives him the speed and agility to move faster and stuff like that. Of course, I love Byakuya as
Byakuya, the most beautiful Bankai.
like the way he drops it and tells Bankai and the way all those come. It's crazy, bro. I love Byakuya and which else, bro? I don't know, man. There are
You like the 10 squad captain, the Ice Dragon?
yeah, Hitsugeya. Hitsugeya. Yeah, he also has a nice one. Of course, Aizen, bro. Yeah, creating illusions and stuff like that. Aizen has one of the craziest bankais. And Aizen, for me, is the best villain in all of anime, bro. Like, the whole, for me, Bleach is all about Aizen and Urahara playing chess. So it is just between these two players. Like, Urahara is one of my most favorite side characters. The most intelligent guy in like all of anime, the way he thinks, the stuff that he does and plans years ahead. He's the only guy who could take on Aizen, bro.
And he is the only guy who Aizen used to think before doing something.
Yeah, because it like I said, it was all about playing chess with each other. Like what move this guy would do, and I'll have to counter that with one of my own moves.
And there is a scene where they're showing the past story, and he'll be like, "No, there is one guy who can deal with who can deal with me."
And even after when like my like okay, let's talk about the like you said, which is your favorite Bankai?
My favorite Bankai, I would say, is Byakuya's one, and his sister's Bankai. I would say that was another level because
It looks very beautiful when she gets into that form. Yeah.
it looks very beautiful, and Ichigo's obviously because Ichigo's, I would say, it was completely aesthetic based, like simple, no heavy this what do you say, heavy swords or no dragons coming out of it. Simple and smooth, sleek.
And the way they showed his first Bankai release, he was covered in bandages. The way he moved his sword in front and he's like Bankai, and the way it was released, it was epic. And like the whole arc where he goes into Soul Society and saves her from that execution, and then that scene where he hits three main people without even a sword. That I was like, what the hell is this guy? Okay, I know you are the MC, but you are too OP, bro. So yeah, so he's a crazy MC, and like I said, from day one he was crazy. So and the evolution just kept on going, and for me the Arankar arc was unreal. Like the way they went there, everything that happened, the fights and Ichigo turning into Hollow. Like initially his fight with Grimjaw, that was unreal, and the scene where he's like, who is that? No, with Grimjaw while fighting, what is that girl's name, bro? His girlfriend. No. Nana is that. We don't remember girls. Okay, so his girlfriend tells him that please don't die, and he goes on to hold Grimjaw's sword and tells sorry I can't die, and then cuts him. And then his fight with Elkiora, bro. When he turns into that hollow, bro, the final shot where he puts his head on Elkiora's face and just hits that beam. I was like, oh my goodness, this guy is just badass. He doesn't even give a fuck, bro. Like, he's crazy. So,
And I would say in all the Arankars, Grimjo comes on second and Elkiora is the first. Like, because his, what do you say, principles or his power or every aspect of him, like, it's like completely on 10. There is no rating above that for him or below that for him. So that's what I want to give it. And second comes Grimjo. And third, obviously, I would choose Nell because of the cuteness she had. That's it.
she had both cuteness and hotness. So, yeah, of course, the Arankar arc was crazy. And Bleach is something that keeps on getting better with each arc. How the final arc where Aizen's whole plot was shown, how he was using illusions and creating all those stuff, those planning, that was unreal. Like when he tells that all your journey, everything you have done was my plan. You are doing it according to my plan. And it was like an epic moment in anime. So, and the final fight, like Mugetsu, that form, I just loved it because the way he comes, holds Aizen by his face, brings him down. Like the way he was attacking as if he didn't give a shit about who Aizen was unreal. the Mugetsu form, everything. And then again, that going forward into Thousand Year Blood War, the way the animation improved, the entry of him coming back to Soul Society, the way they have after Yabahat's attack, if you remember, he goes to Byakuya and Byakuya says, please protect Soul Society. He comes and throws that sword. The way he enters, the animation is unreal. And characters like Yabahat, the story, everything, Soul King, the whole concept of taking it, I think Bleach is a crazy anime, and I think Bleach is something that a lot of people would love. I think it has all the good elements that an anime needs to have. The only thing that I would say Naruto and One Piece have it better than any other anime is even a small character is given screen time, even a small character has a backstory, everything is related to the main story. Even in like Naruto, if you see, Itachi had a backstory, every member of Akatsuki had a backstory, Madara had a backstory, Obito had a backstory, that all aligned into the main story as well. So even in One Piece that happens. So I think in Bleach it didn't happen to that extent, but there was a lot of backstories told, there was a lot of way it was taken, the story goes very seamlessly, and it is pleasing to the eye to watch. I think Bleach is one anime that gives you a lot of adrenaline rush every time you watch it. So yeah, and yeah, I'm waiting for the next Thousand Year Blood War to come so that I can see Urahara's Bankai released, Aizen and Ichigo working together to bring down Yabahat. So I think Bleach is top there, bro. It is one of the best there. So yeah, wonderful. So we have kind of covered a lot of top animes. Of course, there are a lot of animes that may be underrated or not something that a lot of people know. Of course, I'll get to that. I'll ask you questions because I know that you have watched a lot of more animes than I have. So we'll get to that. But now, let's get on to the main anime that we would love to talk about. The one that I would say is not just the top of all animes, but the greatest in all fiction. I think, like Whitebeard said, the One Piece is real.
The One Piece! The One Piece is real!
So, yeah, let's talk about One Piece, bro. Like, there is a lot to talk. I guess we'll be talking an hour just about One Piece. So, let's get started.
Yes, for me, One Piece, the way I was introduced to it was by my cousin brother. He was like, watch it, you're gonna love it and everything. Initially, I had this, impression on One Piece is that, like, what's that guy? Has some normal, some thin guy, skinny guy, has some a scar on his chest, and what might he do? What can he do? Is what my thoughts were. But slowly, when I started watching it, initially I had to push myself because the initial few episodes or few arcs, I would say, were a bit boring. Then it started getting interesting after the Arlong arc, like during the Arlong arc for me personally, because he comes in, he's like, he gets Sanji and everybody, and then when he's like to protect Nami, he's like, though she didn't consider herself a part of his crew, she just wanted to deceive him and get all the treasure that he had. He was still like, I'll come and protect you. You don't have to worry about it. And then he beats the shit out of Arlong, and then that's where I felt, okay, this is worth watching. And then I continued, and then comes the Chopper story, and even Robin's story, everything. Those are the parts, like, slowly. It's like, yeah, it's like, even though now now currently the crew is almost come to the point where it's the entire crew is there. I would say that a step-by-step building of the crew is what I loved. First, he found Zoro, and that is my favorite character, I would say. Of all even if you ask Luffy or Zoro or any other character in all the anime, I would still prefer Zoro, is what I tell. Yeah. So and that is what I love about One Piece is like the story they take. Like, one bad thing is they drag it a lot, but yeah, the story they show each and every aspect of life is what I see. Be it slavery or kind of the discrimination, or what do you say, what beauty they show on the outside world and what it's inside actually happens, everything. It's like a democratic dictatorship is what I would say.
So, like you said, for anyone who says that anime is cartoon, I would say please watch One Piece, because every issue that the world has to offer, I think I sometimes feel like Oda has traveled so much, seen everything there is to offer, taken references and inspiration from everything. Like if you see, there are characters in the Gorosei or the top five elders who represents, who certainly looks like Mahatma Gandhi and stuff like that. There are buildings and arcs which resemble reality in life. So if people who have already reached Egghead, so there they tell about ancient civilization which was so forward in sense of technology, and they were able to source the energy for Emmet to run. And Vegapunk, who is the most intelligent guy, is not able to do it right now. So there are examples like I was reading about a place called Tartarians, which was in reality. And there is no history. So it was kind of like erased, just like the Wired Century. So there is a lot of reference that he has taken from real life and created a wonderful story out of it. And like you said, everything from drug abuse, child abuse, trauma, human trafficking, slavery, illegal experimentation, human modification, dark history, hidden truths, mysteries. He has taken everything. After hearing all this, do you really think this is cartoon? So, like you said, for me, when I started One Piece, so you were someone who was forcing me to watch One Piece, and like you said, I had also the same impression that how can this guy even be an MC? Like he is too goofy, too skinny, too weird to be a MC. That is the way he is introduced as well. So I think Luffy is the best example of do not judge a book by its cover. So once I started One Piece, for me, like you said, you loved Arlong Park and stuff like that. Of course, I would say from day one, it is a very good anime. Arlong Park is good, Drum Island is good, Barati is good, everything is good. I won't deny that. But for me, until Enies Lobby came, I kind of felt like it was a repetition of what was happening. For example, Luffy would go into an island, get a new crew member, their backstory, recruit them onto the next island. The same would repeat. But once Enies Lobby came, and there this concept of a void century, O'Hara being destroyed because they were looking and discovering into something that they shouldn't, I was like, okay, there is something way more deep into this story, and I got glued to it. I was like, okay, there is a lot to this. He is taking the story into something else. This is now not just a pirate's adventure. This is something else on a whole other scale. So from there, for me, the peak interest started happening. But like you said, every backstory, whether it be Chopper, whether it be Nami, the way he fights, and the scene where you said that he kept his hat on Nami's head and said, I'm going to help you. One thing I have observed in Luffy is he waits for you to say, I need your help. There he waits for Nami to put out all her frustration, and finally when she says, help me Luffy, he's like, I'll do it. Even in Enies Lobby, he asks Robin first, tell me that you want to live. Only then will he do it. And so he is a crazy character, bro. I think Luffy is, for me, if I would explain to someone what it means to be a main character or what it means to be masculine, I would say it is not about being the most powerful or being the person with the highest aura, nothing. The person who has the kindest heart, the person who is ready to help anyone without expecting anything in return, the person who values everything, whether it be a bowl of rice, whether it be someone feeding you, whether it be someone's kindness or support, that is real masculinity. And I don't think there is any better MC than Luffy, bro. No one is better than Luffy. Like, he is personification of what manliness, what maturity, and what a MC should be. So yeah, post Enies Lobby, I started falling in love with it because I understood that there is a lot of depth to that. And then, of course, you go into Thriller Bark where there is this famous scene of Zoro's Nothing Happened, and you fall in love with Zoro as a character. And he is kind of like the second MC of One Piece, bro. So no denying that. And even Sanji, for that sake, the backstory that he has, why he is a certain way. Why he loves all women is because he only had women who loved him. Everyone else treated him badly. He had such a bad backstory, and still he remains so kind and so gentle in his approach. And even Zoro, his discipline, his hard work, because he gave a word to his friend that he is going to be the world's best swordsman. I think these three, the monster trio, are unreal. And yeah, of course, after that you go into Marineford, Ace's death, and stuff like that, and it keeps on getting interesting. So for anyone who says One Piece isn't good or at par, I think the only people who can hate on One Piece are people who haven't watched it. Or yeah, because like we said initially, I was also not willing to watch it because 1100 plus episodes is unreal to even think that I can sit through it and watch something that big. So you kind of feel like, oh, should I watch so many episodes? And maybe like we said, until a certain point, you don't know if you will be excited to watch it. So people might have given up midway and think, hey, this is not as good as people are telling. Only people who continued post Eni's Lobby, post all this, and have stayed till now know that there is nothing better than One Piece. So it just keeps getting better, bro. I like the storytelling, how they have carried, like you said, the way slowly he builds up his team, slowly things start happening and unraveling the truths of reality and stuff like that. How the higher ups are hiding a lot of things, and like you said, something that looks so beautiful on the outside but isn't on the inside. I remember a scene where in Marijois where these people come, the kings are escorted on something that is like an escalator, which is moving on its own, and when they show below, there are slaves who are pushing it. So there are dualities to everything. If someone is enjoying the fruits of something, there is someone who is having such a hard job. Or for example, if we burst crackers, like I don't, but there are people who burst crackers on Diwali. So we are enjoying something that is so beautiful to watch, but there are people who are working with such hazardous chemicals, putting their lives at risk for us to enjoy that on Diwali. So he has kind of seen everything the life has to offer, and he has put that into a story, bro. There is no better story than One Piece. And like we said, character building, world building. There are world islands below seawater, the Fishman Island. There are islands on the sky, Skype. Like, there is nothing left that he can do. And the amount of characters, bro. Like, more than 1,000 characters, more than 1,000 devil fruits with unique powers, and the way he has shown every character. And like we said, only in One Piece and Naruto, no character can be neglected. You never know when a tiny character will become prominent in the future. So you need to remember every character, and they can become a big part of the story anytime in the future. So the way he has done it, bro, is unreal, bro.
If we talk about characters, Luffy's is when you told like as his masculinity and everything. The one thing I loved about Luffy is like when I saw his like the way he wants, like the way he respects his crew or values his crew is in the island where he finds he takes Chopper in Drum Island. So there, Nami is unwell, Sanji is completely dead beaten. There he carries them, and he knows that he can't directly climb the ice. He holds one of them in his teeth, and he carries Nami, and then climbs bleeding all over. And then in the end, when he reaches upstairs, he'll be like, first save them, they are my crewmates. Don't worry about me, just save them. And that is what I love about Luffy.
Okay, so we talked about how we love One Piece. Which is your favorite arc?
I would say the first arc that comes in my mind in the liking list is Dressrosa, and the second one is Wano. I'll explain why Wano is in the second. First, in Dressrosa, it's like what do you say? When you enter, it's like an amusement park. Everybody is happy. Everything it's going going on pretty well, but they don't know what actually Doflamingo is planning, or what sinister plans he has and everything. He even lures Luffy into coming here just because he has that Ace's devil fruit. Yeah, and slowly as the arc goes on, further, I see that there are few so dark incidents like what do you say, yeah, draws and forced to do slavery, and I would say even the part where how the king was put down and put into yes, and after that the coliseum where you fight but you never come out. Yeah, that's what the concept. It's like basically he's set a quicksand where people come in but never get out is what, and that too he had a backup plan. And I love what I loved about him was the backup plan where even if someone tries to get out of the place, the bird's cage, it will either kill you or you just stay trapped in it. That's what I really loved about it. But yeah, there even the villains, like I would say that it was a bit pretty dark because even a small child was made to do such cruel things like turning people into toys. It was like playing with a person's innocence and then converting him they tell what you sow is what you reap, right? So that is what they sowed such negativity in that child. Yeah, so it's like I don't care, I'll do what Duffy says. That's what she didn't even care. That is what I'm telling. And slowly, like what you say, even the parts where small groups come in, they are all separated, but they all want is one thing: the freedom. Is what I felt.
Because I loved Dressrosa as well. For me, top three arcs would be: one is Wano. I loved Wano. Two is Dressrosa, and three is Annie's Lobby. So Annie's Lobby for the depth. So that is where I started getting glued to One Piece. Dressrosa, like you said, there was a lot of things happening at the same time. Here, Luffy has come in to take Ace's Devil Fruit. There, you reveal that Sabo is alive. He goes on to get that Devil Fruit. There is story of Doflamingo. There is the backstory of Law and why he hates Doflamingo. There are things that has happened in the Dressrosa, how he has treated the people, the things they are going through. So in the end, how these people get together as a team to go against Doflamingo and defeat him and stuff like that. How the marine officer comes in, he also realizes that a lot of bad things have happened here just because we let him be a warlord. And how he realizes that Luffy is not a bad guy. So there was a lot that was happening in the arc. So Dressrosa, of course, it is a beautiful arc. I love Dressrosa as well. So top one for me would be Wano, because just like Dressrosa, there was a lot happening in Wano as well. And the way the story was taken from Punk Hazard, you find Kinemon, then he comes into Dressrosa with them. From there, they go into Wano, Zhao. They go into Zhao and how they show that the backstory of what had all happened, the Kozuki Oden story and the every backstory about how with Orochi, Kaido took over their country and what they wanted to do and why they wanted Luffy and Law's help. The way they took that story so smoothly from Dressrosa to Wano, it was all connected. Like this guy, so if you observe, Kaido had subordinates who were named King, Queen, Jack, and Doflamingo was Joker. This guy was giving them the smileys and stuff like that and doing these weapon dealings and stuff like that. So the way they took that transition from Dressrosa to Kaido, the complete story was connected. So, and again in Wano, the number of things that happened, bro, like they had to go through so much. Zoro getting caught and had being named as a criminal for killing people, had to come out of it. These people acting as someone else and blending themselves into the villagers, and then they see people who have been given devil fruits which make them just smile. No matter what happens, the only emotion they can show is smile. So it is like taking away your whole concept of your emotions, bro. Like you can't even show how you are feeling. Even in a sad moment, they are laughing. So that is the worst cruelty someone can do to someone. So, and a lot of people like sacrifice their life for the greater good. Then how they raid Onigashima, the stuff that happened there, the fights they have shown. I think, yeah, Wano. And Wano had the best fights, of course. Luffy's Gear 5, Luffy versus Kaido, Zoro versus King, bro. Next level animation. One of the best animated fights in not just One Piece, but whole of anime. I think Luffy versus Kaido was also not animated as much as King versus Zoro. So yeah, of course, man. Wano would always be top one. Of course, now Egghead is also really good. The storyline, everything is good. The animation has got so much better. Everything is nice. But top three would be Wano, Dressrosa, and Enies Lobby. Next question I would like to ask is a very interesting one. There are a lot of devil fruits in One Piece. If you had the opportunity to have one devil fruit, like your favorite, which would you like to have?
I would prefer, I'd say I like to go with lost fruit. That's because it's like a power to give someone, like one thing is to give life to someone else. Like, even though you're sacrificing yourself in that, but yeah, immortality, you're giving it to them. One is that. And the other thing is healing, or the way you can use it. I love the way Law uses his devil fruit. I would say he's the best fight partner for Luffy, because Law's intelligence in the way while he was battle IQ is next level. While fighting Kaido, the way he uses his powers, and then
And mainly while fighting Big Mom, the way he uses all his techniques. I think, like you said, it is more about who uses it rather than what the devil fruit is. And Law uses his devil fruit to the utmost extent it can be used. Even me, bro, if I had to choose, I would go with either Law's Opi Opi no Mi or Luffy's Nika fruit, because the idea of having a fruit that gives you the power of imagination, that is unreal. And Law's fruit, like the way he does room shambles and stuff like that, it is really crazy to watch. And he has a cool aura, and the way he uses it against Big Mom, mainly I loved the way he used his devil fruit against Big Mom, like those anesthesia shots and stuff like that, shock relay, like it was crazy. And he, like you said, he is the best supporting member that you can have in a fight, because he can transfer you wherever you want, and he is like a plus point to have with you. So yeah, those are two great devil fruits. Yeah, so like we said, let's go into the depths of why One Piece is One Piece. So in Naruto, when I said there are a lot of emotional angles and emotional moments that make Naruto Naruto, there are a lot of beautifully shown stories, beautifully shown moments that make One Piece One Piece. Now let's talk about that. So there are so many moments that are worthy of having a debate or a discussion that I had to write it down. So like I said, there is drug abuse, child abuse, trauma, everything, slavery that has been shown in One Piece. So the first scene that I had to write down and wanted to discuss with you was Da Flamingo's speech at Marineford, where it tells that kids who haven't seen war and kids who haven't seen peace have a different approach to life. So that is so true when it comes to reality. Kids who have everything they want versus kids who have seen scarcities, kids who have seen poverty, have so much difference in the way they look at life. So I think that was so beautifully shown. Because kids nowadays don't respect the things that they have, while kids who don't even have food know the value of that. So that was the first scene that got my eye. Then the second scene that I wanted to discuss with you was, like you said, you loved Dressrosa. So there is a scene in Dressrosa where God Usopp scene, where he knocks out Sugar, and he is made has called as God because he is our savior. The very next instant, Da Flamingo puts a bounty on his head, and people are willing to kill Usopp. What I learned in that scenario was, even if in what we call this as a Kali Yuga, even if God came down on earth and a bounty was put on his head, people would go behind money and not behind God. That is so beautifully shown, and that scene has so much depth, bro. Like, they were showing it in a funny way that he's called God Usopp and he's hurt and stuff like that, but it had so much depth. Like, in an instant, you are ready to kill someone who saved you just because someone is offering you money. So, yeah.
And I would see it in another perspective that, like, they were kept in such cruelty that they would do anything to at least feed themselves, is what I see. Because money is what would get you things there, right? And the people who were ready to kill Usopp are the people who are being cruelly tortured in the Dressrosa, like in the play.
Don't you think that in that scene, Da Flamingo tells that if you guys kill this person, I'm going to let you free. Okay. They are so in a illusion that the guy who put us through all this shit, do you really think he's going to let us out? He's not going to do it. Now that we have got an opportunity to finally fight for ourselves, let's revolt against him with someone who saved us. So I think that is a very deep scene, bro. So then moving on from Dressrosa to Zhao, one scene that stands out in Zhao is their loyalty scene, where they say they were willing to give away their lives, and they come and sit, Raizo is safe. And even Zoro, the peak of loyalty, is shocked there. So that is one wonderful scene. Another scene that I really loved in Zhao is the scene of Pedro, where he tells that Roger one told me that everyone has their time to shine and your time will come. So that is something that is very close to my heart, and I keep in my head whenever I'm working. That because we post videos, sometimes a video doesn't do well, sometimes it does well, and I'm like, maybe my time to shine might come in the future. And the way Pedro gives away his life to save Luffy, that this is my time to shine. And then that again cycle goes to Carrot, where she is made the leader of Zhao because these two, Cat Viper and Dogstorm, decide to stay in Wano. So she also remembers Pedro saying that your time to shine has come. So that is one scene that I took out from there. Then from moving on to that, let's go into Wano. How many scenes are there to discuss, bro? Like, yeah, bro. Like the first thing that I have in my head is the irony of how Oden always used to tell this one line that Oden wouldn't be Oden if he wasn't boiled. He keeps telling that in a funny way. And then the way he dies is being boiled. And I was like, bro, this Oda is unreal. No one could write this so beautifully that you make that so ironic, and an irony that someone who's telling that in a funny way now dies the same death. So that was one scene that blew my mind away, that unreal writing. So, and that is the reason he deserves to be in the top 10 authors and writers of all time. Only mangakan in the top 10. So the next scene would be in Wano again, where they are showing the backstory. And there is this scene, if you remember, when Cat Viper, Kappa and Dogstorm were kids, and people were bullying them just because they look different. Oden comes and saves them and tells, don't be scared of something just because you don't know what that is. So that is what us humans are doing. We are scared of the unknown. We are happy in our comfort zone. If something against that happens, we are scared of it. So that is again one scene that had a lot of depth. Then, like you said, bro, Luffy is always a character who is manly and has unique perspective to life. So I'll tell you a lot of references to the audience as well as to why he is the best MC according to us. So the first scene is in Zhao, when they are trying to create an alliance. Kinemon asks Luffy to join the alliance. Luffy tells, I won't join the alliance until Momo asks me. So people might take it as arrogance, but the perspective there was, no matter he's a kid or not, this guy is going to be the next heir. So treat him as a king and not as a child. I want him to ask me to join the alliance. And when he asks, he's like, okay, I'll help you out. The next scene was, like I said, Luffy always waits for someone to ask. In Nami's case, in Robin's case, he doesn't help unless they want that help. Then he does the same when, if you remember, in Onigashima, when they are ready for the raid, Luffy and Yamato are ready to attack. Luffy tells Yamato, no, wait, this isn't our time to shine. Let the Akaza 9 come and attack the first blow. So they first come and attack Kaido. So he gives them their spotlight. He knows this is their war. We are just here to help. Then, of course, episode 1015 is peak fiction. The whole story of them showing Roger telling that after 20 years someone is going to come and surpass us all. Then the best scene that I loved in Wano was after defeating Kaido. These people were writing their wishes on those light ships which they were igniting and like releasing it to the sky. For me, that scene was like, so Luffy has Nika fruit, which is also known as Sun God. Luffy is floating mid-air with all those wishes right floating besides him. So it was like, God, listen to your wishes. He defeated the enemy because he listened to your wishes and God is in center. That is how I saw that. Then after the war, Luffy tells Momo, don't even mention my name that I defeated Kaido. He didn't want fame for it because he thought people have been waiting for someone to come and save this country. That guy should be the next king. I am, if you even make me the hero, next day I am going to leave this island. It doesn't make sense making me the hero. You should be the one people should believe in. So he didn't take credit for it. And Luffy always tells, I don't want to be considered a hero, but ends up being the hero in every arc. So I think it is like, I heard a quote where if you're trying to catch a butterfly, it keeps moving. If you eventually stay still, it will come and sit on you. So it's like Luffy doesn't want to be a hero. That's the reason he becomes a hero. Don't try to be a hero. Do your stuff and work in a way that people consider you a hero. And of course, Luffy and Zoro, no matter how dumb they seem, in a lot of situations, they have shown how wise they are. Like when Usopp left the team, the speech that Zoro gives that because you are a captain, you have to treat him in a certain way. No one can run over you like they want. In a tough situation, if someone is ready to give up on you, how will they stay with you in tougher situation in future? So yeah, that. Then the best scene in Wano was after the war when Otama finally gets to eat every day. She first prays before having that. So that shows that she knows the value of food. And the scene where they show that when people of the village didn't even have enough water and food to eat, while these people were throwing those red bean soup and wasting food. That was a hit to reality because lot of us unknowingly waste so much food. So after seeing that, I was like, damn man, we need to take this seriously because a lot of people are starving out there. So yeah, bro. So these are the scenes, and of course, Kuma's backstory that is going on right now. These are scenes that make One Piece it is. There is no greater fiction than One Piece. Anyone who hasn't seen One Piece must give it a try. I think they'll definitely fall in love with it, but you will have to watch it with a deeper lens and understand the perspective that the writer is trying to tell there. And I think there is a reason why it has been around for 28 years, bro. No story would have been carried so long if it wasn't good. There is a reason it is at the top of every gen. So it is peak fiction, bro. There is nothing more we have to tell about it. It is peak fiction. Anything else you want to talk about One Piece?
I would say we have covered it all because the more we start, the more we keep talking about it, it's never going to end. Yeah. That's for sure. Because there are few more things that are coming up. And the best thing I love about One Piece is the curiosity he builds. He just leaves you hanging in some space, like about the Rocky Port incident or
God Valley incident, about Shanks, his twin brother, yeah.
Everything. Like, it's like you just have come out from a shock or you have just come out from a curiosity. Okay, now it's done. And he brings up a new one. And like, bro, let us breathe is what it.
Every time you think he's going to go right, he goes left. Yeah. So yeah, man. Yeah. Best thing ever, bro. The best thing that we have watched, and we are lucky enough to be able to see something so beautiful. So my final questions to you would be, before that, I would like, because, okay, now that, like I said, I have watched almost about 10 or 12 animes, and we have talked about a lot of them. But you have watched way more than that. So there are a lot of other animes and different genres like sports and comedy and stuff like that, which you would want to mention to the audience, like they would give a shot to it.
I would say, like, first, being like a person who loves sports, I say we can go with Kuroko no Basuke, Haikyuu, and there is this one underrated anime which is called Yowamushi Pedal. It's about cycling, but I would recommend people to watch it because in every anime or sports anime, there is one MC or two people who, run the show. But they have some kind of special power in them. But here in that Yowamushi Pedal anime, it's like a person unknown to the sport becomes the main character, and he becomes the person to win the championship for them. It was a very beautiful story. I feel it's like around 4 to 5 seasons. You can watch it, is what I tell. And when it comes to other animes in like fun or comedy, I would definitely recommend One Punch Man. Sakamoto days, and what do you say? There is an anime where like it's called Komi Can't Communicate. It's a rom-com where a girl who is way too introverted, who even like her voice, even when she opens her mouth, it's like a whisper. How she builds up a friend circle, and the funniest part is her goal is to make 100 friends. That is her main goal. So that's something funny and unique. So that's what I love. And I would say my all-time favorite anime, apart from the big three, is Black Clover, and I have tattooed the main character on my arm. I would definitely want to show that if it's possible now. Yes. So this is Asta. I have tattooed his face and the devil he has inside him. That, and he is also a character like Naruto, I would say. But yeah, Naruto had a backup of ninjutsu, but this guy didn't even have any amount of magic in him, and he wants to become the magic king. See the irony. He doesn't have magic, but he wants to become the magic king. That's what is the unique thing about it. And every time I go down or feel like not doing things, I just look at the tattoo, never give up. That's what his motto is. Yes. So yeah, these are the few animes that I would recommend. And yeah, there are a lot of other underrated animes. If I start listing them,
Yeah, like we said in the start of the podcast, everyone has their own likings. Everyone has certain genres or kind of storylines that they would love. So we have mentioned the stuff that we have watched and we have loved. Doesn't mean that this has to be the number one or the best. You might find something else more better than this. So there is a lot. So it is a place where you can choose what you want to watch. So go out there, choose your own anime. Maybe if you are a newcomer, start with something that is small, with less episodes, because if I tell you to watch something that has 1,000 plus episodes in the initial stages, you wouldn't like it. So start with something small. And we haven't mentioned all the animes, like there is Death Note, which is a very great anime. There is Tokyo Ghoul. So there are a lot of other animes that are good as well. So I think everyone has their own likings, and there shouldn't be hate in the anime community as to which is better. So watch what you love, because we should support the art. The art form has to grow, and people should realize that this isn't cartoon, and you will definitely fall in love with it. So let's not go into the hate section. Let's go into watching good animes, suggesting people with better ones, and trying to like and kind of discover new things that we might end up liking. So the final question I would like to ask you is your top 3 anime of all time.
top 3 anime, I would say One Piece, Black Clover, and Naruto.
So my top 3 would be the big 3: One Piece, Naruto, Bleach. Your top 5 or 6 characters that you would like to mention.
You would be surprised that there are very less amount of MCs in my list. The first, like I told, Zoro. The second is Zenitsu. Third is Asta. Fourth is the main character of Yowamushi Pedal. His name is Onoda Sakamichi. And the fifth character, right? Yeah, fifth character, I would say Itachi.
So for me, because we have watched so many, so it's tough for me to say top 5. So basically my top 5 would be: at 1 I have Naruto and Luffy. At 2 I have Zoro and Ichigo. At 3 I have Itachi and Urahara. At 4 I have Tanjiro and Gojo. At 5 I have Levi Ackerman from AOT and Sung Jin Woo right now. But I think by the end of One Piece, because we are still unraveling these characters, Shanks and Law might come in the top 3, top 5 position for me. So currently this is my top characters. Your top villains.
Aizen 1. Aizen is number 1. And the second, I would say, is like, I wouldn't say it in the liking part, but I would say the most hated, Danzo, in Naruto. Yeah, like in that aspect, I would say. Top 3 in that aspect. Aizen is like him. Yeah, and Saint Saturn from One Piece. Now that I watched the Kuma's backstory, I really fucking hate that guy now. So these three come in the top list. But yeah, there are a few more, but I would say Blackbeard. I would definitely mention Blackbeard. Yeah, he's an intelligent person.
And I think Blackbeard is the only guy who is being a pirate there.
Yes.
He is being a pirate, bro. Pirates are bad guys. You aren't supposed to be heroes. So we cannot hate him for being a pirate. So my top villains would be Aizen and Sukuna. So I love them both. They are crazy. They are villain material. So yeah. So hope you like the podcast. We were able to finally discuss on something that we truly love. So as to why someone has to watch anime is because it truly teaches you what being a man really means. It is not about being the most powerful, but it is about being the kindest and having a helping hand for everyone that you meet. It will teach you about hard work, discipline, and to never give up on your dreams. You will be amazed by the amount of depth and emotions that it is going to evoke in you when you watch an anime. It will make you cry, it will make you laugh. So, like I said, start with something small, and I'm sure that you will love the art form. Until next time, Hare Krishna.